technology is just starting. And if you think about the early days of the internet, similarly, the idea of websites being the main portal for a company was not known and even sometimes derided, right? Like, why would everyone use a website, right? And it kind of feels like we're in that same kind of era now.
We are. And I think if you think about the early days, because I can remember some of the first things that I jumped on and worked on were the startups at the time. And the focus was on being able to create online storefronts. That was a big thing. That's a commodity today. Back then, that was a huge effort to get your company presence, especially on the retail side, through the internet. And it's just commonplace today. So if you think about that, you think about where things will continue to evolve. There's always going to be some new and emerging technology. I think the thing is, how do you think about how that drives value in your business? The solving of business problems and anchoring back to why you're doing some of what you're doing, that's not going to change. You still have to be able to leverage, whether it be generative AI or the technology of the day, to drive ultimate value in your business. And so when you're talking to senior business leaders, those are the things that they're going to want to hear about as well. What are your ideas and how do you tie it in, not just into the creative and innovation side, but how do you actually tie that into what I like to call time to value in your business, like driving real business value and business results?
I think you said something where, like, if you thought you were up for promotion and you didn't quite get it, it ended up being the best thing for you because you got extra time, and it was actually those lateral moves earlier in your career that actually set you up for your position today.
Absolutely. That's so true, because sometimes I think you may think that you're ready for the next promotion or you're chasing that movement upward. I would encourage you earlier in your career to focus on the experiences that you're gaining, not necessarily the promotion. Those will come, but the more experience that you have, the more diverse experiences that you have, your skill set, your toolkit that you're building is your skill set, and you are your commodity, right? You're the one that can drive that and own that, and that means taking on different roles, different responsibilities. And I would definitely encourage you to do that. The other pieces that are going to be the forward mobility and the upper mobility, that will come over time. And sometimes the roles that you take that may not be ones that you wanted. I know I had one in my career that I tell people a lot. I actually managed a very large network engineering organization for an airline, major airline. And that was not a fun job. I did not love it because I actually was an application developer at heart. I loved doing design and user experiences and designing applications. But that one role helped me to understand the full breadth of technology so that when I did become a CIO, I truly understood how to manage all aspects of technology.
Do you have any advice for students or, I guess, young professionals about being able to take in that feedback, or especially when you get that bad news that you didn't get the promotion, of how do you have that resilience and bounce back?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just to spend some time listening and reflecting, and don't take it negatively. Try to understand what can you learn from that, and then what type of experience maybe do you need to gain that's different, that would help you to fill that gap. And you can even ask the individuals that's giving you that feedback, what are some examples of things that you might want to focus on that might help you to improve in that area? Because most leaders are really there to help you. They're going to want to see you be successful. I know for me, that's a big part of the job that I love, is helping leaders and engineers in my organization be able to do their very best in the role that they're in. And so most people will be willing to help you and give you that very specific information.
So going back off your point there about the learning, I think when we were first talking, you even held up a book and you said your first thing was you got to be a continuous learner. So can you describe what you think that means in today's day and age? And again, is it almost like, I wouldn't call it a job, but like, is it something where you just have to have a discipline of consistently pushing yourself to continuously learn no matter what role you're in?
I would say make it a time on your calendar. I do it, and I did show, but all my books right now I'm reading up on AI, by the way. And a lot of other things, but I always have a book that I'm reading, and mainly on my phone. I use my Kindle app on my phone, and I always have a book. And of course, I'll read books that are challenging me and that are challenging my way of thinking, because I think that's just as important too, to read things that are actually going to be a little bit of an opposing view to how you would approach things, to see, hey, maybe I might need to take a different perspective, or it'll help you to understand someone else's perspective. So that's one thing. So some things on personal development and leadership, and then all of the technologies as well. I think you have to. I'm a senior leader, and I'm learning all of those things. I also have had to do a lot of work on the financial because my degree wasn't in finance, right? So I spent a lot of time coming into this role, making sure and briefing myself again on financial statements and, all of the different financial measures and what goes into that in the company, so that I understand the parts that we're tweaking, what's really going to matter as we start shifting goals at an enterprise level for the company.